asked to expand the product 2x plus 7. So that x plus 7 is within brackets. So general rule with numbers being multiplied to brackets is whatever you do to the stuff within the brackets, you need to do to each term within the brackets if they're being multiplied by stuff outside the brackets. So in this case, both things is being multiplied by 2. So what I like to do is I like to draw arrows showing where that 2 is going to go. So it's going to go to each term within the bracket. So the 2 will go to the x. It'll also go to the 7. So then that becomes, when you multiply 2 by x, you get 2x. And then when you multiply 2 by 7, you get 2 groups of 7, which is 14. So the answer for A will be 2x plus 14. Now for B, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's actually just more of the same. The final step is basically we need to combine the like terms. But before we do that, we have to expand both of the products. So starting off with 2x squared plus 3, and then it's added by 3x squared minus 9. So what we want to do is multiply in that 2 to the x squared and the 3. So what we get is 2x squared plus 6. And then on the other hand, we get 3 times x squared and then 3 times minus 9. So what that comes out to is, excuse me, I'm going to change colors, is 3x squared and then 3 groups of 9, which is negative 27, or 3 groups of negative 9. So now we need to add in the like terms. So the way that we're going to do that is, what I like to do is I like to basically highlight the terms that are like terms. And the way that you'll know that is if they have the same variables next to them. So for example, I guess the most simple example here is the 6 and the negative 27. These guys are the same because they have no variable next to them. So that they can be added together easily. And when we do that, we get negative 21. And then the other like terms that we have are the x squareds. So we have 2x squared and 3x squared. So when we add those guys together, we get 5x squared. So then in the end, the answer should be 5x squared minus 21. So that is expanding and then combining like terms. Some basic algebra principles. So if you don't know this, then you won't be able to get very far with more complicated algebra. Okay. Now I could do one more question just to kind of like, and Zach, Shauna did a number trick with Zach. So what she did was she told him to pick an even number, which an even number would be something like 2, 4, 6. Even numbers can be divided by 2 generally. So then she told him to pick an even number, double it by 2, or double it, I guess, and then add 48, divide by 4, multiply by 2, and subtract his original number. She then told him the results he should have attained. So what we're asked is to figure out what number she told Zach. Okay, so let's start by, first off, so we don't know the number, so we can assign that number to be x. So let's just say here, x equals even number, or maybe let's call it Zach's even number. So the first thing that Shauna does is she says to double Zach's even number. So that's 2x. And then she adds by 48. 2x plus 48. So after that, she says divide by 4. So let's keep each of these on like a bullet point. So because we're dividing everything by 4, we have to assume that everything should be within brackets. So we'll put 2x plus 48 divided by 4, and then multiply by 2. So then we'll go 2 times 2x plus 48. Let me just rewrite that. 2x divided by 4. And then finally, she subtracts his original number. So we get 2 times 2x plus 48 divided by 4, and then minus x. And then we're asked what number she told Zach. So this is the expression that we basically start with here once we follow each of the steps that she talked about. So as we've been learning, what we want to do is, oh, hang on, I didn't adjust this. Okay, so this is the number on the bottom here. You can see it now. So what we did here was we multiplied by 2x plus 48 after we divided by 4. So we have a fraction at the end that is 2 over 4 times 2x plus 48, and then minus x in the end. So now what we need to do is kind of take together the distributive properties and everything that we've been learning so far. Let's do that on the right side here to kind of figure out what number she told Zach. Okay, so let's do that. We go 2 times, let's start with the 2 times 2x. Actually, before we do that, we could actually divide out 2 over 4. So then that'll be more simple. It'll be 1 over 2 instead. So we'll go, but let's just show that before we write it out like that. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit here as well. Okay, so we got 2x plus 48, and then this minus x on the side here. So we can then divide out that 2 by the 4. So 2 divided by 4 will be 2, and it'll be on the bottom of the fraction. So what we're left with is 2x plus 48 divided by 2, and then minus x on the right side here. So next up, we want to, let's see here, subtract by the original number. So, I mean, we want to keep dividing by like terms, right? So the next step that we can do is we can actually divide out this 2 even more because these numbers are divisible by 2, like the 2x and the 48. So when we divide by 2 on the 2x, we get x. And then when we divide by 2 on the 48, we get 24.